All right, well, let's move on to Pan's Labyrinth.
Hmm.
So, okay, so this is our more like good film, one of the best films we're talking about,
Yes.
which is great. I love this. This is the perfect way to end Halloween this season, this week for October.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. So what about I would say, like, is this your favorite Del Toro films, or what's your number one favorite for his film?
This is definitely my favorite. It's
Okay.
and beyond favorite Del Toro film, definitely favorite drama movie.
Mm,
It really plucks at me.
yeah,
This is
I
great.
I mean, I like this. This is one of the best like alternate history period films for like a science fiction film ever for me. I really like the story that he came up with. I it shows how good Totoro is a filmmaker. He really does everything practical, and just in general fantasy films in general, he does good with those films. And I always wish he did the Hobbit films. Like this
Oh,
film,
that
you
would be
think
amazing.
yes, and like I was always sad that he like there was like yeah studio like
Yeah,
financial and just creative delays, and then it just didn't went anywhere, and I'm so sad. It's
yeah.
like yeah, this one is my number one favorite. This is like a toss up with Hellboy 2 or uh Shape of Water. I don't know if you've seen that film.
There's not.
Shape of Water is a good film. It's like that's his Oscar winner film for best director and best picture. But yeah, so Pan's Labyrinth, of course, is a story following a girl, uh, with her family with this Nazi soldiers, right, in the Spanish War. Or
It's
I'm
these are not Nazis. They are part of the fascist regime that's
okay.
taking
Yes,
control.
thank you, because I just never remember what was the. This is World War Two, right? Like
It's in the middle of it, but yeah, Spain was having a civil war during World War II.
right. And so she's with them because they kind of move into this like recluse location
Yeah.
for now, because the mom is pregnant with the evil bad guy general uh baby, and while they're here she starts getting this like auspicious connection with the supernatural, and this like elf like creature comes to her and saying that she's like this lost princess, and like if you want to go to this world she needs to get this like she has to deal with this like trouble like testament like assignment she's tasked to do, and like has to put herself to do this, and like but at the same time she's dealing with the horrors of what's going on around her in real life, of with the general as her father, and the war, and then just and then
Yeah.
at the same time we get this like subplot of the revolution soldiers, right, and they're
Hmm.
trying to kill him and try to stop them for destroying this country, and it's just very complex, and just seeing how it folds is very fascinating. And I guess the one thing I want to say is the general, who's the bad guy in this film, total like horrible person, one of the worst villains
Evil.
I like.
Evil.
He's one of the best villains because it just shows how good like how bad he is as a person. I just like when his soldiers find the two hunters that were just
Mhm.
rabbit hunters, and like he literally killed the son, and then of course I think he shoots the father, and then he sees the bat because he thinks that they're holding guns, but he didn't know they were rabbits, right? As they were hunting them, and then he told the soldier next time check, uh, because despite he was cruel, he at least have a conscience. But like, yeah, it was
Yeah.
just so bad. That scene was horrible and sad scene to see. And then him, like, of course, when he was torturing the soldier that he got captured, and then the doctor like kill him because the doctor is also a spy as well with the revolution soldiers, the rebelling soldiers, right? With also the nurse, right? As well as he's also a spy there.
Hmm.
And I was so sad the doctor died when he just nearly kill him because he expected that he was like a spy or something like that, and
Yeah.
I just oh my god, he's a horrible person. That general, I think, just
Absolutely made a very good villain for the story.
Yeah, and I was so happy he died after. I always get funny when they never shoot the bad guys in the head. Like they always shoot him in the cheeks. Like I seen this with Johnny Depp from Public Enemies. I don't know you
Mhm.
see that film where he
I've,
plays a famous like gunslinger or something like that, robber, bank robber, and he got shot in the chest, but like, he shot multiple times in the body, so he died. But here, the bad guy gets shot in the cheek, and that's how you kill him. Like
well, I don't think
I
they did. They put a gun to his cheek, or did they just shoot
no,
him
it
from?
was like it was like a far distance. The nurse shoot
Well,
him.
it's hard to aim. You know, it's like you can't. It's impressive that you got it in one shot. Could you shoot someone in the head on one shot?
Yeah, I mean, in the video game, but not in real life.
Exactly.
uh, but yeah, so yeah, the general worst villain. I mean, he's one of the best villains I've seen in cinema, but I just thought, he's very awful. And then just him killing the kid was just not good. And I guess one thing, like, you think he did die? Like, you think she actually went into that, like, towards the end of the movie? Do you think that was like a real place, or was it just something she just pretended to have, and like she just pretended to imagine?
I think that's getting to one of the most interesting parts about this movie is that it's a fantasy movie, but it's more about the blending of fantasy and reality. You have the grittier reality, which is the Civil War, and then the
Hmm.
fantasy, which I think that the kid uses as a coping mechanism for these
Mm,
harsh realities. Like the faun, I think, is representative of the general, the stepfather.
okay, yeah.
So I don't think that there's, from my perspective, the way that I look at the movie is that these aren't real things. This is just
Okay,
how
how she
you cope
perceives.
with the reality of it.
Hmm.
And so the ascending up into this mystical place is sort of um, it's representative of I guess that peace and whatnot, and it follows that fantasy. She's transcending into that fantasy realm,
Mm,
which is obviously a lot better than the world that
then,
she came from. You know,
yeah, yeah, I agree. They never like specify is this real or not, and I guess it's true
I think
because like the thing that confirms that what like she just copiness is because of what was it? She tried to put this like this spell she got from this like elf creature to cure her mom because her mom got ill with
yeah,
and then after that it's not really working because it's not really what it is, and so what the kid did was actually pretty dangerous and
yeah,
caused her mom to die,
yeah,
fortunately, and with the kid as well, I think I remember.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I agreed, because that was always something I was like having not like struggle or like frustrated with. It was like it was questioning like interesting, like is this real or was this a perspective from the main character, this you know the girl,
Yeah,
and like her just like you were saying before,
yeah.
coping uh this horrible events, um which is really bad,
It's
so
just that very interesting blending through the eyes of a child.
hmm, yeah, I agree.
And then it's not to mention one of the most terrifying scenes I've ever seen in any movie is that with
Oh yes, the ice thing, oh my
and you can
god.
see she's like, what was it? She's pulling fairies out of the boxes or whatnot.
Yeah,
And you're like, come on, don't eat the food. And then you see her eat the food, and you're like, well,
she's Donner. Yeah, and
we're
then the
not.
thing eats the two fairies, and
Yep.
and then you see the eyes, like you see him coming the hallway, and you see the eyes and the hands. It's like,
Hmm.
oh my god, creepy as hell.
Horrifying.
Oh my god, yeah, that one is like probably the most iconic creatures I've seen in cinema.
From
Just
my memory and having conversations about this movie, and that creature is almost representative of the Holocaust, which was going on at the time.
yep,
So
that's
the
true.
death of all these children and everything like that,
Yeah,
eating children.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it could be like a semblance of the gaslight, like chambers as well. Like
Yes.
you're literally in the chamber and like you're in this trap basically because you even you're in a trap because the people of you know
They've warned you.
that
They
yeah,
told you what it is. Yeah.
yeah, Yeah, I agree. And there was a yeah. So that one I remember the most for that film was that like one the two eye hand creature thing. What was the other creatures that she had to face? Like the one in the mud thing, the toe, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. That was weird.
yeah, that was a weird one. I also felt bad when she got dirty because she was like embarrassing the dad and then like
Right.
oh my god, yeah, that was hard for me to see that because she was all dressed up and then she has to get dirty and it was just like
Hmm.
oh my god, so bad.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I'm just looking at what else that well I guess one thing we talked about was the nurse. It's when you see the nurse being the spy and it's just like it's cool to see the fantasy going on, but also the real life, the soldier slash versus the villains plot going
It's
on.
the blending. Yeah.
Yeah, I always appreciate that, and I always like because like you're in this like typical like war Spanish foreign film, but then you're also in this very fantasy fairy tale like grim fairy tale. Like I actually one of the things I
Yeah.
like about this film is it's perfect grim fairy tale we don't get a lot. And like I don't know, you've seen like the A24 film Hansel Gretel, like
Oh,
like
yes.
the
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, like that one is a good like dark grim fairy tale, and I like this one, and I think this one is successfully show you how they can do it. Than that film because that film just goes too far. I think for people to like it. Because like at least this you care more about the characters than I think
Yes.
that one.
Yeah.
So but yeah,
Yeah.
so I
Horror is more of a, whereas like some movies, it's designed to be a horror movie. This is less designed to be a horror movie. Horror is more of a tool to get some of the message across.
yeah, I agree, and this is what they're trying to do with this
Yeah.
film is trying to cross what was going on during the Spanish War, or what was going on with Spain Civil War, what you call it. But yeah, I really appreciate that. But yeah, I guess one thing I will say that what was it? I I think I wish the kid survived. I was very sad that she died. I wish she gone with the nurse and the soldiers because I felt like she went through enough, but unfortunately she had to go.
Well, that's the again, it's interesting because then you return. You're speaking from the reality portion of the film.
Yeah,
And remember, it's a blend. So in the blend version, she transcends into this other realm. So is she
yeah,
dead? You know,
yeah,
the film kind of leaves it open ended that she, in the fantasy aspect of things, she's transcended, but in the reality, she's dead. So
hmm,
it's the interesting thing of both existing simultaneous in the movie. She's dead, she's real dead, but she's fantasy alive.
yeah. And it's something that the turtle explores a lot, transcending to this whole other thing that is not real. So in
Yeah.
films. Yeah, that's what Shape of Water is, where this mute girl is like transcending into this world that she has experienced this love with this
Mhm.
creature that she is completely not human, but it works out. And then same thing with the Hellboy films. I thought they do a good job where Hellboy is trying to sense into like manhood in the first film, and then in the second one he has to transition into father when he discovers he has to be a father when his girlfriend
Yeah.
has pregnancy and all that.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I will say it was great to talk about this movie. I think it's one of the best films.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, so how you doing? Life, John?
Good, good. Work tomorrow, Halloween tomorrow. Got
Yes.
a
So
costume to wear in case any children come up and want their candy. And
what are you gonna dress in for Halloween? I guess.
that's something I figure out tomorrow.
You so you're gonna to decide that tomorrow. Oh my god, that's funny. You should be
I'm a
John Lennon.
very last minute kind of guy. I mean, I do have that old army jacket kind of style thing with some patches. I did him once for Halloween. I could do it. I
Mm,
just don't have any glasses.
I mean, John Lennon doesn't wear glasses all the time. You don't need them.
It's true.
Just be the clean Beatles era of John Lennon before he becomes the hippie
Would
seventies.
be right.
So yeah,
That
or
is-
be or just be the two-eyed creature from Pan's
Right.
Labyrinth. I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, in a very like cheap homemade costume, like you do the
Yeah,
nuts
yeah.
here, and like what are you doing?
What are you dressing as tomorrow?
uh, just me. That's all I gotta say.
Oh,
Just me.
very scary. Scary costume.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm working tomorrow as a spy, so I'm gonna be traveling from London, Tokyo, in Spain, and
Classic
to yeah,
disguise.
yeah, class disguise and be my evil, spy agents all
Hmm.
around the world for the whole Halloween night.
Oh,
So,
and Jaden Will and my trip is coming up to Quebec
oh,
end of the
that's
month
cool.
next month.
That's next month. That's cool. You have to keep me in touch with that because it was
Yeah.
fun when I went there for that 1 week in
Also,
September.
did you see my cat?
Yes,
What?
I said cat. Well, John, thank you for joining me today. I think this was a fun podcast. So
Excellent. It was. It was good.
yeah, well, and we need to discuss because we still want to do the podcast from the Stanley
Family
thing.
Dawn. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have to do that. But meantime, maybe we should do one again for this month together. What movie you're interested to talk about? I'll let you choose.
Hmm. You know what? I need to see the movie Coco. People have been recommending it to me.
Oh my god, I'd be so happy to talk that. Coco is one of the best Pixar films ever.
Let's do Coco then.
Yeah. Oh my god, that would be great. I'm so happy because I
I
love that.
cannot do next weekend. Cannot do next weekend.
All right, no worries. Well, everyone, thank you so much. Me and John will figure out our schedules soon. And so far, enjoy this Halloween spectacular podcast. So have a good night, everyone.